The Iran war may have done more than trigger a military confrontation. It may have forced the United States to rethink its entire military footprint across the Middle East. According to a Washington Post report, and people familiar with the matter, the Pentagon is now evaluating whether America should continue maintaining such a large military presence in the Persian Gulf. The discussions come after months of Iranian missile and drone attacks exposed vulnerabilities at major U.S. military facilities, and this could mark a major turning point in America's strategy for the region. The Pentagon is reportedly considering whether to pull some troops and military assets away from vulnerable positions in the Gulf. Importantly, this is not yet a formal Pentagon review ordered by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Officials describe it as prudent planning that could eventually help determine what happens to U.S. bases damaged during the war. But the implications are enormous. The United States normally maintains around 40,000 troops across nearly 20 sites, stretching from Jordan to Oman. For decades, the Persian Gulf has been at the heart of that military network. Bahrain hosts the headquarters of the U.S. Fifth Fleet. Kuwait houses major American Army and Air Force assets. And other Gulf states have relied heavily on the American military presence as a central pillar of their security. But the Iran war has exposed the risks of concentrating so many forces within range of Iranian missiles and drones. More than 200 U.S. facilities have reportedly been damaged or destroyed during the conflict. And 6 American service members were killed in a March strike on Port Shuaibah in Kuwait. The attacks have also come at a significant cost to America's air defenses. The U.S. military has fired more than 1,000 sophisticated interceptors while defending its forces in the region. That has put additional pressure on already limited stocks of Patriot and THAAD missile interceptors. Now, Pentagon planners are asking a difficult question. Should America rebuild these bases exactly as they were? Or is this an opportunity to completely rethink where U.S. forces are positioned? One possibility being discussed is moving troops and equipment farther west, away from the Persian Gulf. Jordan, Israel, and the Red Sea coast of Saudi Arabia have emerged as potential alternatives. The logic is simple. Greater distance from Iran could make American forces less vulnerable to concentrated missile and drone attacks. But there is no perfect solution. Iran has already demonstrated that it can strike targets far beyond the Gulf. An Iranian attack in Jordan last month reportedly killed 4 U.S. service members. So moving west would reduce some risks, but it would not eliminate them. America's Gulf allies, and there is another major concern. For decades, countries including Bahrain, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia have depended on U.S. military power for protection. A major American troop reduction could therefore create a security gap. Those countries would need to accelerate their own military capabilities or potentially deepen security partnerships with other powers. And that could take years. Inside Washington, the debate is also becoming increasingly political. One camp believes America must maintain a strong military presence and continue defending its allies. Another argues that the United States has stretched itself too far and should reduce some Middle Eastern commitments. The goal, they say, should be to focus more resources on defending the American homeland and deterring major competitors such as China. That debate could now determine the future of America's military architecture in the Middle East. The financial cost is another massive factor. The Pentagon estimates that the war itself could cost around $37.5 billion by the end of September. But that figure does not include the full cost of rebuilding damaged military bases. One estimate has put the potential repair bill at around $5 billion, and the Pentagon has not yet decided whether those bases should simply be rebuilt or redesigned entirely. Some defense analysts are already calling for the closure of US bases that sit within easy striking distance of Iran. Kuwait, in particular, has been highlighted because of its proximity to Iranian missiles and drones. Other proposals call for shifting American forces toward more secure facilities, including bases deeper inside Saudi Arabia. Move more US forces into Israel. But there is another option being pushed by more hawkish voices in Washington. The idea has gained support among some pro-Israel defense groups, with proposals to increase American assets at Israel's Ovda Air Base. F-22 Raptor fighter jets were already deployed there ahead of the war. One concern is that a larger US military presence in Israel could create additional counterintelligence risks. But that proposal also faces opposition inside the administration. Or reduce the American military footprint altogether, shift more forces toward Israel, strengthen bases deeper inside Saudi Arabia, move troops farther west, rebuild the old bases. So the Pentagon now faces a complicated choice. Whatever decision Washington ultimately makes, the Iran war has exposed a fundamental vulnerability. America's traditional military positions in the Middle East are no longer as secure as they once appeared. And if the Pentagon decides not to rebuild them as they were, the map of American military power in the Middle East could look very different in the years ahead. But it could be the beginning of a major transformation in how America operates there. This may not be a withdrawal from the region.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.